Happy Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome into another day of Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you for the next hour as we have finally had players on the practice field. Fall practice, fall camp, whatever you want to call it. I know some people don't like calling it fall camp. And I saw, I think it was Nick Kelly that actually pointed this out. He's like, why do we call it fall camp? Fall doesn't start until September. I'm like, well, that's fair point, I guess, but you're practicing for the fall, so I guess that's kind of where that comes from. But we had Alabama and Auburn both on the practice field yesterday. Got to hear from both Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer and just get some early takeaways from what's going down in both Tuscaloosa and on the plains of Auburn as well. But overall, we are 23 days away from week 0, the official start, I guess, of college football season, the first real games. Tonight, you do have real live tackle football, though, as the Detroit Lions and LA Chargers will face off in the Hall of Fame game, the inaugural game of the NFL postseason. I'm sure many of us will be really, really locked in for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then that will be that. So 23 days away from college football, 29 days away from Auburn, Baylor, and 30 days away from Alabama and Florida State. So we are getting ever so close, Damian, to the start of college football season. And I think yesterday maybe started to feel a lot realer for a lot of people as you got to hear from the head coaches. You got to start seeing videos from practice, and that's when it really starts to kick off for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean, it's day one. A lot of basic install. But the biggest thing I think for a lot of coaches, it's, okay, for the guys that were here during the spring, how much did you retain? One, are you physically in shape? Two, how much is retained to put you in a better position to start things off? Again, nobody's in shoulder pads yet. I think after the first scrimmage for a lot of these teams, once they actually put the pads on, then you'll start to see some separations. And you hear a lot of these coaches, there's only so much you can really take. And it really is, because the game is so physical, and the name of the game is, blocking and tackling. It's a lot easier to do that when the pads are on than it is in shorts, because you can't really get too much of a look, but you kind of just want to see, okay, all right, there's some things that we can tell, especially with the quarterbacks, because one, they already don't get touched anyway during practice. It's just, okay, is there a sense of anticipation on any of these throws? Are there throws that's kind of, oh, okay, didn't know you had that one in you. So I think for a lot of people, it's just, one, you get to lay eyes on what your team could potentially look like as the rest of the year plays out. But you at least get a baseline of, okay, this is a great starting point, and let's see where we can go from here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we'll start on the plains of Auburn. So you had a little bit of a different setup yesterday. So we had thought that they were both going to speak at the same time, but it turns out that is actually Alabama their practice was starting at 9, which was the same time that Hugh Freeze was speaking. And so some of that got mixed up with the media stuff. But so Kalen DeBoer would speak later. We will hear from him and get the Alabama side from day one of fall camp here in just a little bit. But we will start off with Auburn and Hugh Freeze. So Hugh Freeze spoke before Auburn hit the practice field. Kalen DeBoer spoke after Alabama had already completed their first practice. So you get a little bit of a different perspective from each of the coaches. And again, this is Hugh Freeze before the first practice, so just kind of setting the table for what to expect and taking a lot of questions from the media was the main part of it. But let's start off with the question that I think a lot of people had going into fall camp in a situation that we've been keeping an eye on here over the last couple of weeks, and that is Malcolm Simmons, a very, very talented wide receiver there for Auburn, who has found himself in a little bit of some legal trouble with a police investigation from a domestic violence dispute going back a couple of weeks, and we haven't really gotten an update on that in a while now. And so a lot of people were wondering, is he going to be on the practice field? What is that going to look like? Are they going to keep him away from the team? Well, he was on the field yesterday. You see there are pictures, videos of him out there running drills with the other wide receivers. And so this was Hugh Freeze. This was the first question of the press conference yesterday as he kicked off fall camp about Malcolm Simmons and his availability.
Based on the information that I've been given from our campus administration, who have knowledge of the matter, he's been cleared to participate in team activities.
Hugh, JoeGoodmanAL.com. Who exactly cleared Malcolm to practice with the team, and did they talk with Malcolm's girlfriend?
Like I said earlier, based on the information that I've been given from the administration, he's cleared to practice, and that's all the information I have.
Yeah, so that was actually multiple from different reporters because you had Joe Goodman and I think Jason Caldwell was the one that asked the initial question. So you got 2 questions on Malcolm Simmons. That's the answer from Hugh Freeze. That's all he was going to ever say about it, right? Because it's an ongoing legal investigation. You can't speculate on those kinds of things. And so that I don't think that should be a huge surprise to anybody, but he was out there on the practice field yesterday, and we will see how that situation continues to develop. But as of right now, based on everything that Hugh Freeze has been told, he was cleared to go yesterday. So you did have a little bit of a viral clip from Hugh Freeze yesterday, but we like to save the best for last, Damian. That's a little more fun because if you saw that, I'm sure there's some of you going, man, what about the the funny little quote that he had that spread like wildfire on social media? He certainly did have that. But how about the word first? What about the word for this season for Auburn? Hugh Freeze says that he likes to, I guess, kind of come up with a theme for each season or each team as a head coach for him. And so this year's word was expectant. Listen to Hugh Freeze talking about that word and why he chose that for this year's team.
It's kind of the word that I go away, as most of you know, and spend a little time in this cabin in the mountains that I've done for a long time, and just I think through, all right, what am I going to teach this year? What are the themes each week? What is the overriding word? That's the word I came up with, and I think everybody's kind of following that lead, and we are expectant. We're expecting of being a really good football team that competes in every single game and has a chance to win every game, and hopefully we're better in those critical moments and we flip some of those close losses into wins, and we're expecting of that, and hopefully our kids are following that. And I'm teaching a proverb a day keeps stupid away during camp, and hopefully that impacts all of us also in life and in football. But the overriding theme is expectant, so I'm glad the kids are listening and they feel the same.
Yeah, and I think that's, you should be expectant this year. This is the year you've been waiting for, the year that you've been building towards. And so to make that a part of, I guess, the identity of this year's team, the culture of this year's team, I certainly don't think that that's a bad direction to go in if you are Hugh Freeze. So he did talk a little bit about the quarterbacks, and there's one particular part of that I wanted to get your thought on, Damian, as well as any of the Auburn fans out there that are listening. But a couple of quick notes first. So, again, you did have Malcolm Simmons out there. He was dressed out at practice yesterday, completing drills. In the running back room, they are going to be a little limited early on, as it was revealed that Jeremiah Cobb and Darrell Robinson, both a little dinged up. Cobb, he has a broken finger that he's working through, and then Darrell Robinson has a toe injury that he's kind of been dealing with all off season. And so they're continuing to be careful with those two guys, but a little short at running back right now, but those guys expected to be good to go by the time the season starts. You also have wide receiver Sam Turner, a freshman. That's another guy that, Hugh Freeze shouted him out. You got to see him a little bit in some of the clips yesterday, but that's a guy that continues. I know they are stacked at wide receiver, but, when we had somebody the other day, who's a young guy that might be a breakout player for Auburn this year, I think on the offensive side of the ball, that's the guy that you hear the most buzz about. And so that certainly continued yesterday. But there's something interesting that I guess I had never really heard of this, and I'm sure other teams do this or talk about these things, but it was interesting to hear it kind of in the open. And this is about the quarterback situation. So Hugh Freeze was asked, did Hugh Freeze ask DJ Durkin to take it easy on Jackson Arnold in practice, and why would you want to do something like that? This was Hugh Freeze.
The number one priority of practice is for our quarterback to leave that field confident. And I am going back to that this year, and DJ's been awesome. I mean, the respect I have for him and the job he's going to do, and we've got to be really intentional about what are we doing in this period and making sure that our quarterbacks have an adequate chance to really be prepared to have success in it. and not try to win a drill, but try to get better in every scenario. And if it is, dirty ball period where everything's being thrown at the quarterback, the quarterback should know that, and that's fine. But if it's not that, then let's work together to make sure we're preparing him.
So, and again, different people have different strategies. I understand. I think first off, what he said about the priority of practice is you need your quarterback to be confident. I think that's fair, right? I think we all agree it's the most important position on the field. If you want one guy going into a game confident that they're going to execute the game plan, probably want it to be the quarterback. However, I think it is also fair, again, and this is just me. I don't know if you feel the same way, Damian, but you want that quarterback to earn the confidence because he went out there and executed in practice, not because he got a false sense of confidence from, having the defense and the defensive coordinator say, hey, let's tone it down a little bit.
That's where I have just I genuinely do not know what Hugh Freeze is saying. This is the thing. Yeah. You can kind of tell on scripts where, all right, we want to work something this week. We want to work something during this drill, and I want to see something. But when you're manufacturing success, how are you going to tell the defensive coordinator, take it easy? No matter what, you're going to tell guys that, and it's hard when you're going a million miles an hour and you're expecting this quarterback. One, it's not like Jackson Arnold's a freshman. He's played a lot of football. He's a 5-star. There's certain things that we just can't we can't ease it into him. We just can't say, oh, okay, be careful, keep him in bubble wrap. This dude's a quarterback. He's going to be going through the fire at all times. It's going to happen. So I think, at least from my perspective, I think you put him in more pressure situation, more intense pressure situations to see if he's going to crack. And again, there's a reason why he was benched at Oklahoma. There were inconsistencies. Now, I don't think that you need to coddle him. You have to go out there and tell DJ Dirk, hey, throw us the kitchen sink. It's up to my quarterback to make a decision. And if there's things that we need to correct, boom, we go in the film room, we talk to him, and we go from there. But I understand that you want your quarterback to be confident, but also I wanted him to be confident in the throws that he did make without us having to say, hey, we're, let's simulate a little bit of a pressure right here. No, it's Jackson Arnold saw a pressure, made a check. Oh, no, he fit into this window. Okay, those are the things that we're looking for, not necessarily of, looking at the script of saying, hey, we got a couple cover 2 beaters this week. Let's see what it looks like. No, I want my defensive guys to know, no, all right, well, dang, Jackson fitted in this window. Okay, he must be doing something right. Not to the point where I have to tell my defensive coordinator, let's ease him into it. Nah, Jackson Arnold is a college football player, getting paid a lot of money too. So to me, I think that you're giving a quarterback a false sense of reality for somebody that really doesn't need this. If anything, this brother needs the truth. And he's jumping into a situation at Auburn where, I understand that Hugh Freeze believes in him, but also if you're DJ Durkin, it's hey, coach, we got some things we want to work out too. We want to see if we can get back there with some of these exotic blitzes or things like that. Or I want to see what this guy looks like in man-to-man. So I want him going against, let's say, Perry Thompson this week. I want to see him go on one-on-ones. I want to see these reps and put Jackson in there to throw him the ball. I just want to see these things. But to say that, I understand you want your quarterback to be confident. Nobody wants that. Nobody expects that not to happen. But also, I need him to believe in himself of, it doesn't matter what defense I'm looking across. I can make these throws. I'm doing exactly what I need to do. I'm making these checks because this is what I'm seeing. That's how you leave with confidence of hey, that was a good check, Jackson. That was great. I can't believe that you put it, you put that right on the numbers to Cam Coleman. I like that back pylon throw. Not that we're doctoring the practice and doctoring, certain periods of practice just to make sure that you get the reps and that you feel confident in the end.
Yeah, I'll be the first person to tell you, I don't know if that's something that is common practice, at the college level or at the Power 4 level of, I guess a coaching strategy for practice. I think that it sounds nice and that the priority of practice and having your quarterback be confident is absolutely right. And I'm going to, and maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to give Hugh Freeze the benefit of the doubt that he is not, going to sabotage his quarterback by making things easier on him. So I don't know, but Damian, I mean, you played college football. You probably have a better perspective on it than I do, and you certainly feel a certain type of way about it. So I mean, we'll just, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But again, not saying that we should, take that quote for exactly what it is, and it could have been misinterpreted or what have you. But that's the kind of quote that if Jackson Arnold struggles, people are going to circle back to that and go, well, is it because of this? And I think that's where that kind of stuff sticks out to a lot of people is, okay, maybe that's not a concern right now, but we'll keep that in the back pocket, and maybe it's something we're going to have to worry about in the future. So real quick, before we get out of here, Damian, let's have some fun. If you missed it yesterday, this was the viral clip from Hugh Freeze from the presser.
You need length and girth in this league.
And there's no better way to cap off the Auburn Fall Camp Day 1 recap than with that clip right there. So we also had Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide. They were on the practice field as well. Kalen DeBoer speaking to the media after the first practice. So we'll hear what he had to say and share some observations from the media at Alabama's fall camp as well. We want to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Did you like what you heard from Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer yesterday? Did you hear anything, any buzz around fall camps that has you really excited for the upcoming season? Love to hear from you, 205-834-9450. We recap day 1 of Alabama's fall camp next. .621 here on your Thursday morning. Welcome back in. Morning JOX. Conrad and Damian here with you. Recapping day 1 of fall camps for both Auburn and Alabama. I know I said we get to Alabama now. We'll get to Alabama at 6:30 because we have some of you wanting to chime in about Auburn and get some things off of your chest about what you heard from Hugh Freeze yesterday, some of the early takeaways from day 1 of fall camp. So we'll get to Alabama here in about 10 minutes or so. But want to give y'all time to make your voices heard about Auburn and day 1 of their fall camp yesterday. But real quick, MLB trade deadline is coming up later today. So yesterday you did have the Braves. They made another acquisition as they got relief pitcher Tyler Kinley from the Colorado Rockies in exchange for a minor league prospect. So that is the 3rd pitcher that the Braves have acquired here in the last few days. We'll see if they have anything left in store for later on today. You also had the New York Mets going out and trading for Ryan Helsley, the St. Louis Cardinals closer, for 2 of their bigger name prospects there. So the Mets got a little bit better. The Phillies got better as they went and got the Twins closer Duran yesterday for a couple of prospects as well. And then the big news, though, was last night the Seattle Mariners made a trade for Eugenio Suarez, the star third baseman of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So those were your big MLB trade deadline moves from last night. And again, handful of hours left on the deadline today, and we will see if there's any splash moves made here in the final hours of the trade deadline. And finally, and a little bit of college football news outside of the fall camp world, we do have a commitment coming down today. It is going to be broadcast live on the Pat McAfee Show. Not sure exactly what time, but that's 5-star edge rusher Anthony Tank Jones from right here in Mobile, Alabama. He is going to announce his commitment later on today. It is between Alabama, Oregon, and Texas A&M. From what I understand, Oregon seems to be the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Okay, as long as he doesn't go to the other one.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So really, it's just between Oregon and Alabama. At least that's what I'm hoping.
That's what it would be for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will see what Tank Jones, 6'4", 255-pound edge rusher from Mobile. He's a 5-star. Looks like an absolute monster. So we will see if he stays here in the state of Alabama and goes to the Tide, or if he goes elsewhere. So we will let you know about that on 3-Man Front, as that is when he will be making his commitment. So let's go to the phone lines real quick. I know some of y'all want to chime in about Auburn and Alabama fall camp. Let's go to Dave and Hoover first off. How we doing, Dave?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous. Obviously, I think the quarterback has gotten the playbook from Auburn as soon as he shows up there. But That's the key, him knowing that playbook. But looking at vanilla defenses the whole time, then you break that huddle and you go to the line of scrimmage at Alabama or Georgia somewhere, and you go like, what in the world is this? That's not going to end well. So I'm not so sure I'm in favor of a guy looking at vanilla defenses the whole camp. Maybe they feel like he doesn't quite yet have grasp of the whole playbook. I mean, that could be part of it. I know that happened to Justin Fields when he transferred to Ohio State. They said it took him a little bit longer to get a hold of that playbook. And when you have that confidence and knowing where everybody's going to be, and you start throwing the spots instead of looking for wide open receivers, I think you're going to fare a little bit better.
Yeah, no, and I think that could very much so be what he's talking about is initially, right, while, like you're saying, he's learning the playbook, you do take it a little bit easier on him. Maybe you don't install as many things or at a slower pace so that he can, you feel like, all right, you master a little bit, then we move on to the next section, you master that, and it just so that you're getting positive reinforcement throughout the process, and maybe that's ultimately going to be the case. Appreciate you chiming in there with your thoughts, Dave. So we'll see. I know some people think that, that quote maybe was taken out of context. I'm just telling you, he was straight up asked, did he ask DJ Durkin to take it easier on Jackson Arnold in practice? And he said, yes, he has done that. That was a real question in the press conference yesterday. So let's go to Don real quick. We know he's a big Auburn fan, wants to chime in on Hugh Freeze and day one of fall camp. How we doing, Don?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well. So you like what you heard on the plains yesterday?
Yeah. I got a little news that I read overnight and everything. But first of all, is Damian going to accept the challenge to the undercard debate next week?
Yeah. No, Damian is totally down. He is going to. Y'all will be the. I don't know if y'all are the undercard or if y'all are the main event. I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, we'll have a debate.
No.
You and Damian.
No, but buddy, I think you got your hands full with Bama Hater. I've been listening to that man for 20 years, brother. You better be careful, Conrad, with him.
Well, he debates himself, so I literally just have to show up and breathe oxygen, and I'll win. So he contradicts himself every time he calls in, but that's okay. So Auburn for you, Don. How'd you feel yesterday?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I heard a lot of good things. There's a running back down there that a lot of people don't know about, and he's 17 years old, and I mean, Damien might know about him from Montgomery Catholic. I believe, is it Madsen? Is that his name, Damien?
I have no idea.
Okay, he came from Montgomery Catholic, and he reclassified to sign with Auburn last year, and supposedly he's with Cobb being hurt, he's getting some reps with the ones, which was surprised me, and also too, Conrad, the big depth on the defensive line. It sounds like Crawford and Autry are having really good summers too.
Well, that's good. Yeah,
I'm encouraged.
Okay, well, good. I mean, it's day one, right? There's only so many things you can take away from it, but you'd rather be encouraged than not.
Yeah. You can't tell much in helmets and shorts, can you?
No, you can't, but it is nice to see the videos of the quarterbacks throwing against air because they look pretty good doing it. So.
No, well, yeah, of course, and everything. Even Peyton Thorne looked good throwing in air.
No,
guys,
he didn't.
Okay?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Damien could tell that one. That one was just a little off from the beginning.
No, I said that for a reason, just to get a response from you, Conrad, okay?
Well, we appreciate you, Don.
Me and Dave, well, listen real quickly. Pat said exaggerate a little bit. Me and Damien were not cussing at each other.
I was. I will happily admit, yes, I was. No, don't try to sugarcoat it. He wasn't exaggerating at all. Landrum had a great analysis. He's like, hey, I ain't never heard Don cuss. Nah, he didn't have to. I had the mouthful, but I was good. It just there was a name that was said, and it just kind of hurt my nerves. And I was like, nope, we're not having this discussion.
Yeah. After I thought about it that rest of the day, I said, boy, that was stupid.
It's all good. It's all good.
Everything. All right, yeah. Well, no, I'm looking forward to it, Day, and it's all in fun, my brother.
No, it's not.
Okay,
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, it's not.
You're
gonna go after me.
Not even in the slightest. This is a business.
You're gonna go after me.
This is a business approach. No, I mean it's I'm looking to remove all doubt.
right, my buddy. All right. Well, you guys have a good day, fellas.
You too, Don. Appreciate you chiming in.
There's
Your
no high
thoughts
road.
on the
There's no
Auburn
high
Tigers.
road. There's no high road in this.
Y'all just keep going back and forth.
Because I'm not because I mean, you got to think about it, man. Like, I'm already under enough pressure of deciding who I'm going to root for. And the fact that I took Auburn out of my top 5, it just became personal. Like, it just became personal. I'm like Michael Jordan in this moment.
Yeah.
And that's when it became personal to me.
Y'all will it's all right. Y'all will y'all will hug and embrace and make up on Tuesday, and after a nice heated debate in which it comes out to a slight victory for Damian. And, and then we'll move on with our lives like that. So appreciate y'all chiming in. I know some more of you want to get in with Auburn. We will get to more of your reaction, more of your thoughts towards the end of the show. But we do have to get to Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, what we learned from day one on the practice field for Alabama and the Crimson Tide. And we will do that next here on Morning JOX. .34. Welcome back into the Thursday edition of Morning JOX. Conrad and Damian here with you, about to let you hear from Kalen DeBoer what he had to say after Alabama's first practice of fall camp and some of the early takeaways as we get closer and closer to kickoff, which means we are also closer, Damian, to the JOX kickoff party.
Absolutely. You can celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC JOX kickoff party at Regents Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way to go is by winning tickets. To win a pair of tickets for you and the guests, text the keyword FREE, that's FREE, and your full name to 205-834-9450. The keyword is FREE, your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. For more information, visit joxfm.com.
All right, so we did hear from Kalen DeBoer yesterday after. So Hugh Freeze, again, he spoke before Auburn hit the practice field. Kalen DeBoer spoke after Alabama had already completed their first practice of the day. And from what I understand, maybe ran a little bit longer than was initially expected, because I know a lot of the media, we were supposed to hear from him around 11:15, ended up getting pushed back a little bit later than that. So maybe just getting a couple of extra things in there yesterday for day one. But the question that we all have, I think we know, is about the quarterbacks. We know right now it would be Ty Simpson if Alabama plays tomorrow, but they do not play tomorrow. So there is still time for that quarterback competition. But Kalen DeBoer just asked after day one of camp, again, going to be limited on the amount of takeaways you can have, but this was his assessment of the 3 quarterbacks after day one.
I think they've all taken steps through the summer, and you can see they are definitely more comfortable with the install. A lot of it's the reps they get with the play concepts they have, but the footwork and just the confidence with that. And, you know, some of the new things that we've added in. So Ty and Austin, you know, those things are still new this spring. And, you know, they've now become very comfortable with, it's subtle stuff, but, you know, probably Keelan's going to be the one that, you know, you're going to see the biggest jump naturally, and you know, I feel like that was good. I mean, he's making quick decisions and not sitting there thinking too much. But I felt all of them did. I think Ty, you know, we talked about all the quarterbacks, but you know, just the gimme, the ones that are just should be 100% making those plays all the time. And I really felt like you know, he did that. He got probably more opportunities just because of the way the plays developed to have more of those gimmies, and those gimmies add up. You know, gimmies are 5-yard gains that turn into 15 and 20 and sometimes explosives, and they keep the chains moving. So I like the mindset of our quarterbacks, because when you can trust your quarterback to go through his progression and be okay with checking it down and not forcing something, you can call, as a play caller, a lot more balls down the field and know that it's not just going to be an incomplete pass or an explosive play. There's going to be a progression, and it's going to be some type of movement down the field. It's going to put you in manageable down at distances, whether it's second, third, or fourth.
So, of course, we take everything with a grain of salt. It's the first day of fall camp, but I think if you're an Alabama fan, you're happy to hear that, oh, you have a quarterback that's taken the routine throws, the easy throws. Those are the gimmies, as Kalen DeBoer calls them, and those are being executed at a high level, which is something that, you know, let's be honest, was missing at times the last couple of years. So I think that certainly inspires some confidence in you if you are a Ty Simpson denier, as a lot of you are. But hey, I will say a lot of people have seemed to have come around throughout the summer months, and there's still some people out there, but it is what it is, and we will see if he ultimately hangs on and is the starting quarterback for Alabama when they take on Florida State. But at least yesterday, making the throws that you need to make and getting those gimme plays in there at a high rate. Kalen DeBoer later on, he was also asked and kind of expanded a little bit more on the quarterback competition, but this time he was asked, does having a veteran defense like Alabama does, having that veteran defense that's we all expect to be one of the best in the SEC, does that help in the quarterback competition by making the quarterbacks, I guess, more of a game-ready feel going up against a veteran defense?
Yeah, a lot of the competition right now is a lot of pressure on them. There's pressure to play in games and the quarterback pressure that exists, going through the season. But really, the pressure that they have to compete and win the spot is something that's preparing them for those times in the games. And so going against a defense like ours, and our defense does a really good job. I think they're getting better and better at disguising things, which means you don't know where things might always come from. And then, guys just that are playmakers out there too. They can cover a lot of ground, and they're not just giving you those gimmies, those blown coverages. You're having to make plays. And so quarterbacks did a good job of, I think, taking calculated risks at the right time. They didn't put our offense in jeopardy really, throughout practice. And they're being challenged by obviously a group on the other side of the ball that we've, got a lot of confidence in right now.
Well, iron sharpens iron, as they say. And if you're in a quarterback competition, it might be a little more difficult for you going up against a veteran defense like what Alabama has right now. But at the end of the day, you would hope that it's going to make them even more game ready when week one does ultimately roll around. So we'll see how the quarterback battle progresses. But quickly, we'll go from the quarterback to the defensive quarterback, or at least as I would presume, because this was the role that he played last year before he got hurt. That is, of course, Deontay Lawson. He was back on the field yesterday, had a brace on, but from what I could tell, didn't look like he was very limited. Looked like he is pretty much back to 100% and expected to be the leader of this defense. So let's hear what Kalen DeBoer had to say about Deontay Lawson and his injury recovery.
Yeah, his trajectory is going up. Deontay, his leadership is the thing I think that's really come out. So that's exciting. He is going to be limited, and just the number of reps, the volume, I guess the best way to put it, and what he can take as expected. And that was going to be the plan, just with his timeline from the beginning. But it's great having him out there. I think he feels really good about being out there, mentally and physically. I think he's in a really good spot. But there's still progress to be made as we build for the first game.
Yeah, so going to ease him back into it after his pretty rough lower body injury that he suffered late last season. Let's be honest, if he doesn't get hurt, he's in the NFL right now. He's not coming back to Alabama. So hopefully he is totally 100% once the season starts. And again, you hear from Kalen DeBoer, going to be a little limited. But when he was on the field and the little bit that you got to see, the kind of some of the videos and things like that, it looked like range of motion wise, not super limited, right? Going to ease him back into it in terms of a workload perspective, but looks like the leg is healing up quite nicely there for Deontay Lawson. So that is certainly some good news if you are an Alabama football fan. So that's Kalen DeBoer speaking to the media after day one of fall camp. Again, as we've said this a few times this morning, there's only so much that you can take away from quarterbacks throwing against air and, basic drills, things like that. People aren't, going on pads, knocking each other around, anything like that yet. So once you get to the first scrimmage, I think that's when it really starts to get interesting and that intel really starts to get maybe a little more meaningful, a little more impactful. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But it's good to have the teams back on the field. It feels real now. UAB, they've already got a couple of fall camps under their belt as well. So it is in full swing now here in the state of Alabama with fall football. And again, we are now, if you're an Auburn fan, 29 days away. If you're an Alabama fan, 30 days away from the kickoff of the football season. So you can smell it in the air. I'm glad that we have finally made it through the summer months. It may still be hot as heck outside. There's no denying that, but we are getting ever so close to actual live tackle football on Saturday morning. So We want to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Some of you chiming in with your thoughts on both Alabama and Auburn. We already heard from some of the Auburn fans, some of their thoughts on what happened day one down there on the Plains. So we want to hear from you, and we will take your reaction. Day one of fall camps around the SEC next on Morning JOX. Welcome back into Morning JOX here on your Thursday morning, 6:48. If you're just now joining us, spent some time hearing from Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer as they, Hugh Freeze kicked off fall camp. Kalen DeBoer kind of recapped day one of fall camp for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And we know some of you chiming in with your reaction, what you thought, what you saw, what you heard from day one of fall practice as the kickoff to the regular season inches closer and closer each and every day. And 205-834-9450. That's how you can get on the Courtesy GMC text line and chime in with your thoughts on all things college football. So Chris, he chimes in, says, question, guys, do you think the comments about trusting your QB to make the right read, allowing you to open up the playbook more, could be taken as a shot at Jalen Milroe? No, I don't. I think they have moved on, and they wish him well in Seattle and hope that, he has a great NFL career. But no, I do not think Jalen Milroe was on their mind at all yesterday. I think it was just, that's just a factual statement, right? Of if your quarterback is making the right reads, it's going to give you the ability to have more confidence and go to all levels of the play. But I do not think that was a shot at Milroe. Let's be happy for Milroe now. All right, I've put all the bad stuff in the past, all the baggage. It's over. It was ugly at times. It was beautiful at other times, and now it's over.
Yeah, he's in the league now. He grown.
Now we'll say thank God that it's over, but yeah, it's over. So let's let's try to move on from the Jalen Milroe area. Wild Bill, he chimes in. After Damian bowed up against Don says, I like this version of Damian. No high road. I'm here for it, boss.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Cody chimes in. He says, I love Damian stands on business, puts his chest out. Keep it up, big dog.
Hey, I got you.
That's absolutely right. Jimmy says, did I hear Don say that Damian doesn't have the length or girth to be an Auburn Tigers fan?
Pause. But no.
I think you're confusing Don and Hugh Freeze.
Gotta be.
Something like that. Let's see. Someone says, wait until you walk outside Sunday morning. It's going to feel like kickoff is coming. Is it going to feel a lot cooler on Sunday?
I believe so.
I know it's supposed to, I guess there's a chance of rain here for the next few days. Ooh, my weather, 82 is the high.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
On Sunday?
I will accept that.
No complaints here. That would be, that would be wonderful. Let's see. Hastings chimes in. Apparently I've worked here for 4 years today. Thank you, Hastings, for sending that in. He says, congratulations, Conrad, on 4 years at Cumulus Media. Well, thank you. I didn't realize that today was my work anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Well, from the second.
From the second, yeah.
Second time.
Second go around.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the world stopped. That's the only reason.
Something like that.
Something like
that. We have somebody else chiming in about the quote from Hugh Freeze about DJ Durkin, taking it easy on Jackson Arnold in practice. They chime in. They say, I heard Greg McElroy say that Nick Saban did the same thing. Maybe. Look, I'll be honest. I don't know. I haven't heard Greg say that. Maybe he has. And again, that's why I said I don't know if that is a common thing. Is that something you hear from a lot of college coaches? The same person chimed in and said, well, that's what my high school coach did. I'm sorry,
it's apples to oranges, man.
That is, yes, a completely different scenario. I would love to tell you about what my Pee Wee coach did, but that would be about the equivalent of what you're saying. No offense, but it's those are completely different levels there. But I'm not going to come out and say that, this is the first coach to ever do this. That's not true. But I don't know how commonplace that is. But if Greg said that about Nick Saban, then there you go. That'll tell you a lot right there. Let's see. Someone chimes in. They say, I took Hugh Freeze's comments to mean he didn't want DJ Durkin throwing the kitchen sink at Jackson Arnold on day one. Give him some good defensive looks, but don't overwhelm him with the complexity of it yet. But I may be wearing my orange-colored headphones. And I mean, again, that's what I said. I am giving Hugh Freeze the benefit of the doubt that he is we can say what we want about the man. He is an SEC head football coach for the second time. The dude knows football, right? Whether we want to argue about, some of his in-game decisions or things of that nature, that's fine. But he's not going to do something to intentionally set his players up to fail. So that's where it's, I kind of with you, the person that texted in, and maybe I need to swap out my crimson shades for my orange headphones today. But I find it hard to believe that they would intentionally set him up to fail like that. But we'll see how it looks in the regular season. Antoine chimes in. He says Tank Jones is scheduled to commit at 12:30. Okay, thank you. He will be committing on the Pat McAfee show today. As we discussed, it'll be between Alabama, Oregon, and Texas A&M, the 5-star edge rusher out of Mobile. So we'll see where he ultimately ends up a little bit later this afternoon. Let's see. Someone says, Damian, are we really judging Jackson Arnold off being benched when he had to play with walk-ons at Oklahoma? If that's the case, we need to sing the same song with Ty Simpson in his performance versus USF 2 years ago.
And I replied, I was like, well, one, Ty Simpson was a backup redshirt freshman. Jackson Arnold was the slated starter. And also, that was a Brent Venables decision. I'm just stating the fact. Like, he was benched. Like, it happened. But yeah, the circumstances are completely different. Like, nobody expected Ty Simpson to really see the field besides garbage time in 2023. But after a week of inconsistency and some button of heads between the head coach and the quarterback, then yeah, Tyler Buchner went in there too. He stunk it up. Ty Simpson went in there. He stunk it up. But again, that was 2 years ago. That was also when Nick Saban was coaching. This is Kalen DeBoer.
Let's see. Clamp chimes in, says Alabama and Auburn have the worst combination of football coaches since DeBose and Bowden were there.
That's extremely disrespectful.
I know people think it's funny, the Kalen DeBose thing, and whatever. If he ends up being a complete and utter disaster, then yeah, that'll probably stick. But I think people also kind of forget how, at least on the Alabama side of things, how bad things were before Nick Saban. And I'll be the first one to tell you, right? The majority of my life was during the Nick Saban era, but I still remember what it was like before that. And I didn't even go through the worst of the worst like a lot of you have. But come on, you won 9 games last year. You're one of the favorites to win a national championship this year. I think it's going to be okay. Drake chimes in. He says, I think Auburn's going to pull a Florida this year and have a turnaround type season. We will certainly see. Appreciate all of you chiming in. Day 1 in the books for Alabama and Auburn. We're back at 6 a.m. But McElroy and Cubic in the morning is next.